Hi, thank you for joining us. My name is Carrie Corns, and I'm the program coordinator for the Business Administration program with Western Washington University Peninsulas. And today I'm joined by Mary Sass, who is the department chair for the management department, and she's also a faculty member and instructor in the program. Mary, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Carrie. As Carrie mentioned, I am Mary Sass, and I have been affiliated with this program now since the beginning and have a lot of good knowledge and background with it. So I'm excited to be here today. And I'm going to share a little bit about the program and what it means to join into a business administration program. I'll then pass it off to Carrie, who will talk more about the application process and the ways in which you can consider transitioning into Western. Next slide, please. So the question that you might be asking yourself right now is why Western on the peninsulas? Why would you consider that versus any other option that you have? And the wonderful thing about our program in Paulsbo is that it is a small in-person based or hybrid based program where you get an opportunity to interact deeply with faculty, interact deeply with students, but also you get an opportunity to learn from industry leaders. We integrate a lot of projects into our classes. We have opportunities for students to evaluate cases from industry leaders. And many of these industry leaders that we attempt to use are going to be from the peninsulas. And so they are local leaders, which is a nice way to interact and network with people that may hire you someday. We also have, as I mentioned earlier, very small class sizes, meaning that you're going to be in class and interacting with almost a cohort of individuals, and you have an opportunity to get to know everybody quite well, but you also get an opportunity to get to know your faculty quite well. And the wonderful thing with that is that they can then help cater and to your needs, but they can also help adjust the curriculum and adjust the style of teaching to meet the learning objectives of your goals, but also the learning objectives of the class as a whole. We also really encourage hands-on experiences in this program. And so in most classes, you will have a project-based learning segment. Many of these are, again, supported with industry leaders, but if they're not supported with industry leaders, they're actually supported with the work that you do day to day outside of school. And so it's really nice to be able to learn and apply the information um, that you're getting in your classes in a very succinct and quick manner. We found that our students really do have an opportunity to really connect better with each other when they're doing these experiences, and so it's a major part of our programming. We also do have a hybrid learning environment. So most of the classes that you take are going to be in person at your senior level. Many of the classes that you take at your junior level are going to be more of the online or in person, depending on what your preference is. So we try to build flexibility into the learning environment so that you can best adjust your schedule to the needs of your outside work or outside personal objectives. The other thing that we have that's actually quite unique with the Western and the Peninsulas program is that we really do cater to individualized advising. Carrie does a really wonderful job of helping students along in terms of the classes that they're going to take. But we also have faculty who are going to work with you in terms of the careers that you want. And so we are really focused on making sure that the work that we do is helping you get where you want to go, whether it be for your career, whether it be for further education, whatever your desires are. Next slide, please. You might be questioning whether or not you should do business administration or another program. At Western on the Peninsulas, we have a general business program, which is a really nice and unique way to go because it allows for you to have flexibility in the business education that you receive. Our business program is set up where you will get an overall or encompassing degree that does give you some basic foundational education in all the different disciplines of business. So, the accounting, the finance, the operations management, all of those are going to be covered. But then we also allow for a lot of flexibility in terms of your upper division coursework and your electives that you take. And the point of this is to, again, cater it to what your interests and your goals after school are. And so having a generalized business administration program allows for you to adjust what you want to do so that you can get to your personal goals in the future. And that is very different than many other programs in our state and even our programs up in Bellingham. because in those programs you do have to specialize, and we have been very conscious of keeping this as a more of a general program to allow for flexibility. Next slide, please. So you might be wondering, how does this work to get to finding your path? And one of the most remarkable things about our students is that many of them are working professionals that are coming back to school, and they don't necessarily want to change directions in terms of their careers, but they want to be able to advance in their careers. And so we're here to help with that. But for those students who are, thinking about either changing their careers or haven't yet had a career, we also are going to be able to cater to that. So to give you an idea of just the types of jobs that you might consider once you graduate from Western on the Peninsulas, we have a slide to follow that's going to give you just generalized what you might consider doing. Next slide, please. So right here are some of the career options that you might consider. And these are career options that are readily available, especially when we're looking at the peninsulas. Project management and government jobs obviously are really key to our program, and many students do choose to go into the government jobs, whether it be at the shipyard, whether it be working at one of the bases. They are going to be in those government contract positions particularly. Project management is very closely affiliated with that, and so many of our students will also find themselves in places like engineering firms where they're leading the engineers on projects and things like that. We have had several students also, though, that have started their own businesses, whether it be in event planning, whether it be in retail, whether it be in a type of consulting. So we've had a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurial endeavors on the peninsulas, and that's been really exciting for us to see the growth of different businesses that have resulted from our programs. Many of our students also consider human resource management. There is a management focus to our programs and to many of the classes that you take. And so it gives students an opportunity to learn more about what human resource management is, but then it also allows for them to get internships in human resource management and therefore then go into those positions. The other things that some students have looked at are things like nonprofit management. This is really key because it's a little bit different of a discipline. Rather than going into a large agency or rather than going into a government agency, we're looking at this idea of smaller organizations that have different values and different operating budgets. And students really appreciate the fact that they get an opportunity to see both larger businesses, small businesses, and nonprofits, and be able to choose and pick what makes sense for them in terms of their values and their goals. I will now pass it over to Carrie, who will talk about how it is that we actually can get you here and the different paths that you might take.
Thank you, Mary. So all of the programs through Western Washington University on the Peninsulas are 2+2 programs, which means you always start off at another partner institution, sort of like Olympic College as an example, and then you transfer to us for the last 2 years of your bachelor's degree. And there are 3 different transfer pathways for the business administration degree that I'm going to talk to you about today. So the first one is to get an ABDTA. This is your Associate in Business Direct Transfer Agreement degree. You need to have at least a 2.5 GPA. And then if you have already been working on that, that's wonderful. You can apply and start with Western on the Peninsulas as soon as you are finished your ABDTA. And you would work with your advisors at OC or the other partner community college to make sure you're in the right degree pathway. The great thing about a DTA is that you'll meet all of your university GURs, so you can just come in and really focus on your business classes. The next option is to complete just a regular, and this says associate in business. This should be, this is just going to be your associate in arts. But to complete an AADTA. So with this program, you would need to complete some foundation classes. So there are a series of foundation classes that are required for admission to the major. So I have those over here on the side on the right. You'll take financial accounting, managerial accounting, business statistics, Intro to Micro and Macroeconomics, Law in the Business Environment, and then Calculus with Applications to Business and Economics. The middle column there has the course number if you take it at Western, and then we have the Olympic College equivalent, which makes it a little easier to find those classes when you're searching for courses. You need to complete these foundation classes with a C minus or better, and you need to earn at least a 2.5 cumulative GPA. And then once you've finished, you're in your last quarter of working on these foundation classes and you have your DTA, you can apply to start at Western. And then the other pathway is new, and it is called the Business Bridge. So this program is really tailored to people that already have their DTA, their regular DTA, not the business DTA, that want to transfer to Western sooner and not do a full year at community college in addition to the DTA they've already completed before they get started on their coursework. This program starts in the summer of 2026, and you'll need to apply by May 1st to be a part of this program. The way it works is you already have your DTA. You do need to have completed Math 141 in order to enroll in this program. And you will actually complete the accounting series this summer. So you'll do 2 summer classes. So if you can see here on this slide, it's actually 3 classes at Olympic College, 2 classes with Western, and you'll take both of those in the summer. And then in the fall quarter, you'll actually start working on the rest of the classes for your major while you work through the rest of the foundation classes. This gives you the option to complete your degree much quicker, and it allows you to start working on those higher level classes while you're working through those foundation classes. All right, so if you're interested in the business administration program, the first step is to meet with an advisor. So you'd actually be meeting with me, and I will talk to you about what classes you've completed, what program you're in, and we'll determine what the best pathway is for you to join the program. You want to apply online. There's no application fee, so there's no cost to you to apply. And then you'll send your official transcript. If you're an Olympic College student, you'll do that through Parchment. You always want to send your transcript directly from your college to Western Washington University. As soon as you touch transcript, if it comes into your email, it's no longer official, so make sure you send it direct to us. And then you want to make sure you get your FAFSA filled out. So you can do the FAFSA or the WASFA. The priority deadline for the next academic year has passed, but you can still apply, and you'll be considered for aid that's available. So I want to talk a little bit about the application timeline. So for our Summer Business Bridge program, you have to apply by May 1st because you'll be starting classes during the summer. If you're interested in any of our other entry pathways, you can actually start any quarter. So if you've got your regular DTA and you've finished the foundation classes, or you've got your business DTA, you can join us fall, winter, spring, or summer quarter. The deadlines are here. We've got a July 1st deadline for fall, September 15th for winter, and January 1st for spring. And a question I get a lot is, do I have to have completed the degree before I apply? And you don't. So you want to plan to apply probably 2 quarters before you get your degree or in the quarter that you're earning your degree. So if you know that you're on track to finish your ABDTA and say, you're looking at spring of 2027 for your graduation date, you can apply in winter of 2027 to join us for fall 2027. So 1 to 2 quarters before you graduate is the timeline that you're working on. And then here's our contact information. If you have questions, you can message us at western.peninsulas@wwu.edu. Give us a phone call, and we've got some info on the web for you there. Does anyone have any questions?
Got one question.
Okay.
The person asks, I have been out of college for a few years and only got my associates without the transfer part of it. How can I get on this path?
Okay, that's a great question. So we can do an initial GUR review. So basically, GURs are general university requirements, and they're required of every bachelor's degree. Pretty much any college you go to has these general class requirements, and they all call them different things, but we call them GURs. And initial GUR review will review your transcripts and see how many GURs you have remaining. For some students, if they just have one or two remaining GURs, we're able to have you get started with us right away. You can do either, you could do the business bridge if you don't have the foundation classes completed. But we would want to do an initial GUR review just because if you have a lot of those classes remaining, it's not cost effective to do them through Western. So we would want, and it's not, they're not available through our campus. So we would want to have you go back to a community college and get that official DTA. So for some students, they might just need one or two GURs. They can come straight to us. If you need more in the neighborhood of six, we prefer to have you attend a community college because you can usually convert your regular associate degree to a DTA with just a couple of classes. Does that answer your question?
They said yes, it did.
Okay.
Another question. I work full time. How do I complete this degree?
Okay, so our classes are offered in a couple of different formats. So we have hybrid classes, we have fully online classes, and we have in-person classes. The in-person classes and the in-person hybrid sections are offered during the day. So this program works best for folks that have at least a somewhat flexible schedule for a traditional workday. You're typically only needing to come to campus like once or twice per week. Very occasionally, it might be 3 days a week. But you would need to be available during the day at least once or twice a week for classes.
And this is a two-parter from a business owner. One, how can I support my employees who want to return to school? And two, I'm able to offer internships and entry-level jobs. How do I get in touch with you to talk about that?
Okay, well, for internships, we'd love to have you send us an email. We really encourage our students to do internships because it gives them real life work experience. As part of the program, they can do one of their electives can be an internship. So if you send us information, we'll share that with our students. And then as far as supporting your staff, so I would encourage anyone that you have working for you that is interested in pursuing this degree to schedule a meeting because I can look over their coursework with them and see what steps they need to take to transfer in. And then I think just supporting them with having a little bit of flexibility with that their work schedule to be able to do a couple hours of class once or twice a week.
All right, that's all the questions.
All right. Okay, cut. I have the wrong thing on the slideshow. Should I try and go back and fix that? Can you like insert sections if I change it real quick, or is it like impossible and we just need to deal with it?
I think for right now we kind of need to deal with it unless Siri
Okay.
has